You join us today at Myra, where we're going to conduct a bit of an experiment. Each week for the road test we use Myra's dry handling circuit and the wet handling circuit you see behind me. Now the thing is, on the dry handling circuit it's pretty easy to predict the results, and the Audi R8 V10 was one of the fastest cars we timed last year. But on the wet handling circuit it's much more difficult to call, and sometimes you find quite humble cars very near the top of the pecking order. So the question today is, just how close can a 120 brake horsepower Skoda Octavia get to the 500 horsepower Audi R8? On the dry circuit, the Audi is 14 seconds a lap quicker than the Skoda. Let's set a lap time on the wet handling circuit in the Audi. Now, one big difference between the wet and dry circuits is the wet handling circuit is much less about power. There's really only one straight, and even that's not too long. And most of the circuit, the speed levels are pretty consistent. You're just going from one corner straight into the next. So something like this Audi V10 doesn't really get a chance to stretch its legs. So we're coming onto the main straight now, third gear in the Audi, full throttle now, that's 80, 90, 95 before on the brakes. Now this isn't a very smooth circuit, so you get patches of standing water, which makes it a really good test for how a car is going to perform out there in the real world. And big, stiff, wide-tyred supercars can struggle when you get standing water, especially into the braking area. Now, one advantage of the Audi is it does have adjustable suspension. On the dry circuit, we put it in its stiffer sport suspension, but here we want to leave it in its softer setting. Now, this is the trickiest corner coming in here because it looks deceptively easy, but it's actually off camber from the apex. So you go in too hot and you're in all sorts of trouble. I'm really only using full throttle on the straight, and the rest of the circuit no more than maybe 30%. Right, let's see what this Skoda can do. Right, on the main straight, absolutely flat chat. There we go, up to fourth. 75, 80, on the brakes, much more stable on the brakes. Turn in. And already you can feel there's a little bit more grip on turning. This is a two-wheel drive car, but with the amount of power and torque this engine's producing, we're probably not going to struggle for traction. See, this is the point. This is a very easy car to drive in these conditions. So how come this £15,000 Skoda gets within 2 seconds of an Audi R8 that costs, what, 6-7 times this price? Well, firstly, it's down to the circuit. Really, as we said, this is not a power circuit, but that's not the only thing. This Skoda has got very good steering feel, very good chassis balance. And it just comes down to the fact that in wet conditions, a softer chassis, narrower tyres can actually help you find more turning grip. The tyres are able to dig through the water and find grip on the circuit, whereas a lot of the time the Audi is fighting the direction changes, fighting the weight transfer, and a lot of the time just skating across the surface. Yes, the balance is very good and it is very good fun in the Audi, but it's not actually that much quicker despite the Audi's massive power advantage. Now, I don't want to take anything away from the Audi because the fact remains, for a mid-engine supercar, it is fantastically well behaved in all conditions. But sometimes power and all-wheel drive aren't everything. Now, that just leaves the tricky question, which of these for the drive home? It's good, the Skoda, but it's not that good. Go the other way now.